At the beginning of a new Minecraft world, I have 4 things I normally start with. I start things off with building a little starter home to keep myself safe at night. Then I like to do some adventuring to find some good future build locations and some early game resources. Following that, it's important for me to set up a storage area to help store and organize my resources. And finally, I like to set up a consistent food source to help with my survival in a world. From this list in this series, the only thing left we have to do is our food situation. So in this video, we'll be sorting out our farmland and animal pens. On the bottom half of this island, we had a little starter setup with some farms and some barrels for storage, which currently looks terrible, but the location could be great for some larger scale farms. So we start by clearing out our junk, take away a large amount of trees so we get a good overview of the area, and then we can start planning out our rough ideas. Now, Minecraft has a large variety of food sources to choose from. For me, I like a mixture of animals and crops. And those don't have to be ugly, efficient farms. We want them to add beauty to our settlement. With that in mind, we start figuring out how the path will connect from our other builds to this area. Doing a bit of basic terraforming at this stage to make sure everything connects smoothly. Then with some wool, we can mark out the areas we think could work well for farmland and cattle pens. Once we have this rough idea in place, we can now get on with the building. So let's start off by building the animal pen for our cows. Starting with a stone foundation, we want to give a good amount of space so that we can keep a fair amount of cows. Sticking to the rough circle we set out with the wool before, and adding in some texture with some cobble and mossy. We also want to change the height as well, and so we work in some stairs and slabs around the top of the stone base. In a few places around the wall, I think we should add in some wooden supports. For this, I went with some oak, and I also added in some stripped oak and some moss to give it a more weathered look. We can also add in the pillars on the ground to maybe make it look like they've been knocked over by the weather. Inside the pan itself, I think we should add in some different dirt types to simulate the cows tearing up the ground with their hooves, and some wood as maybe a fallen tree that's collapsed, either because of the weather or because the cows have been rubbing up against it. Of course, we add in some hay bales for food and a bit of water for the animals to drink. Now the other areas we've marked out with wool, I think we're just going to make some simple crop farms. For that, we need to add in some water sources and hide them as best as we can. Add some way to get around without stepping on this tilled land. Now, we've collected a lot of crops already, but maybe not enough to fill this whole place. So to start with, we just fill out this back area, and gradually, over time, we can fill out more and more crops into this area. With the animal pen and farms in place, this area is starting to look great. But as I find with most builds in Minecraft, the little details around a build add a massive amount. With this in mind, it's time to move on to some detailing. Starting with the path, we connect it to the main area, cross through our farming area. Keeping the same block choices and textures, and making the path flow well around the area. Afterwards, we work on the ground, breaking it up a little by adding in some boulders and rocks around the place. This should really help the area feel more natural, especially in height. And finally, we add in some trees. Similar to our last video, we work on some oak trees, but these ones we're going to make a little bigger because the area doesn't feel as cramped as the other part of our base. These trees really help make this area feel less vanilla and more custom. With all these stone, bushes and moss around the place, it's really starting to look nice and overgrown. And now that we have the farmland sorted, I guess we should consider moving in our cows from their temporary home. The crops are filled out nicely, and this place is looking really great. The addition of these custom trees has really helped out a lot. And you know, I think this island could do with some more custom trees. So I think that will be our aim for next week. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I look forward to seeing you next time.